Hello there! Welcome to another episode of the Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast in which we analyze, we scrutinize, and we celebrate The Last Jedi, one burning minute at a time. I'm Alex Robinson from alexrobinson.fun.
I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.xyz.
I'm Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. You're home for the National Hockey League for the next 7 years, which is very exciting for me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
As a fan, I will say it's exciting for me too. I'm excited to see what you guys do over there.
Well, it's one of those things, you know, this, I don't know if you guys know, but your podcast does dabble in nostalgia occasionally. And for me, it was exciting because, you know, for the last 4 years, I worked at ESPN. And I don't know if you guys know, but some people sometimes take issue with the way that National Hockey League is covered at ESPN. So when it was announced that we were getting the rights back, it was really exhilarating for me to see this incredible outpouring of nostalgia for when we covered the sport in the 1990s. And, you know, NHL Tonight and the theme song, you know, like all the stuff that people really liked about it was sort of dredged up, and they were like, you know what, ESPN was really fun when they covered the NHL. And I'm like, this is fantastic. Where were you the last 4 years? And you were like, you don't cover hockey. So I was this whole thing of us getting the rights back has been really fun because it's created a sort of an era of happy thoughts and goodwill towards my employer. And by that, I mean Disney, of course, makers of the Star Wars films, or at least some of them.
Star Wars films. Well, we're glad we could have you back because we're nostalgic for your past appearances, so we decided to have you back on the program. Minute 113 is what we will be talking about. 113 starts off with the supremacy of burning mess in space after being the victim of the Holdo Maneuver, and ends a minute later with BB-8 using an AT-ST to slaughter an army of child soldiers.
Yeah. Well,
now,
go ahead.
Hold on. Can I just 1 second? When you say an army of child soldiers,
yes,
and you say that BB-8 slaughtered them,
yes,
I think you are discounting how many of them apparently died on impact, because we went from several phalanx of stormtroopers, like an assemblage that we haven't seen since the Emperor arrived on Death Star 2. Like that's how many we're talking about. And none of them were there anymore. Like, there's a few bodies strewn here and there. Phasma comes through with her attack squad. There's a couple more that we see later on. But for the most part, all of the stormtroopers that were there are no longer there. And I don't think it's because they ran away.
Yeah. Well, that gets
they were sucked out the airlock before the pressure
before the force field came in. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that's probably what happened, because like it's impossible. There's no large amount of bodies.
Right. They're
not really all running anywhere. So I have to think that before it kind of repressurized, they all got sucked out the airlock.
That's what I had. Okay, this is one of my least favorite things about the movie. This whole. So as a matter of fact, this would be if you were going to task me with making my own cut of the film during this minute at one. It can't be at 1:13. No, at 13. Oh, a minute and 13 seconds. That can't be. This is only a minute long. Anyway, at some point in this, I would cut cut the film for the next, and I'll let you know. I would just end it. I just credits created by George Lucas. No, at some point, I'll let you know when we pick it back up. But I would definitely make a cut here because we get this. You know, we see the aftermath. Rose and Finn kind of wake up, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on? Oh, there's a shuttle." That's where I would cut it. Oh, there's a shuttle over there. Great. We see that because it almost I can convince myself that it makes sense that everybody else got kind of wiped out by this explosion. They didn't, because they were lying down on the deck. They were being forced to lie down so they could be executed. And the blast kind of ripped through, and they were just, you know, they were spared just by nature of being flat, prone. And all right, that kind of makes a little bit of sense. And then they wake up, they're like, what's going on? Oh, look, there's a shuttle that's still intact. Let's go get it. Great. And then cut to, I'll bring it back when we meet up with them again later. But instead, it's like, oh, what's going on? Oh, there's a shuttle over there. Okay. Oh, everybody's dead except for like out of a different room, suddenly, this is what comes like Phasma and her gang completely unscathed, and they're just like dun dun dun. It's like, well, what? Where are you coming from? How did you survive? What's going on?
They had to wait for the smoke machine
to
make the smoke so they could look cool walking through. Also,
get me a fog trooper up here.
Also, in Pete's cut of Last Jedi, Cyborg has a more developed backstory. They gave Steppenwolf new armor, and also Superman is in a black outfit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it hadn't even occurred to me, but that makes me like the scene even more because it puts a hat on the fact that Phasma keeps reappearing after situations where she most certainly should have perished.
Right.
So I like that. This is kind of like she did die and now she's back. So
to Pete's point, like, was it just that they all got knocked backwards momentarily by the force of a spaceship?
Yeah,
jumping to light speed through another ship.
I think Phasma was like, "Oh, I just thought of a great entrance. Come on, let's go back out. We'll go back out. We'll come back in."
Right.
Because she already had an entrance too, where she walked out all dramatically. So she just loves a good entrance.
A couple. She's had at least two in this movie so far.
One of the stormtroopers is trying to like go through quickly. She's like, "Stop it! We're gonna do the Reservoir Dogs thing. We're all going to walk slowly together."
And we gotta wait. We gotta wait until they wake up. So just sit here for a second.
Now, Pete, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't there, in fact, a deleted scene extending this scene with Phasma and Finn? Or is it just a fight that is extended?
I don't know. I should have probably checked that out, huh?
I should have too, but I didn't think of it till now.
How can you extend something that's already too long?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Watch.
You can do. Yeah. I think that the extended version of the Fathier chase works, and to a certain extent, I think the extended version of the pod race scene works. But this is kind of the opposite. I think an extended version of this would make it worse. But I could be wrong. Who knows?
So speaking of stormtroopers, one thing I noticed in rewatching the scene that I've never seen before in all my times watching the film, did you see the two stormtroopers that were in back? Is that an ATST technically, or like what do we call in this thing that the BB-8 is in?
Yeah, an ATST. Yeah.
Okay, so did you see the two stormtroopers that were in back of it firing?
No.
Like we have ones on the ground and they're firing at it from where Phasma and all them are. Then there were like two in back of it firing from a bridge. You can go back and look. The bridge then collapses, and these stormtroopers fall to their death. It was pretty crazy. I had never seen that little detail before. We rewatched the scene for the episode.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it's not the, I like the details. I like I feel like everybody is doing a good job on this still, as far as the people kind of, doing the work, but we don't need this scene, and especially seeing all the other things that got cut and seeing how it's the longest one. Like, it's odd that you why do we have that? Were they worried like, oh, there's not enough Finn? And like,
now I have some notes on the fight.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I really like Finn's attempted Roman Reigns Superman punch on Phasma when he jumps through the air and uses the slicey thing as a weapon. I liked him screaming, "Come on," at Phasma. Like bring it. Like, come on, let's have a real fight. Bring it, whatever. I am puzzled by what Phasma says here. Have you been able to make that out?
You're a bug in the system?
Did she say you're a bug in the system?
I think so.
Okay, because I heard it as you're a ball kick in the system, which doesn't make any sense.
No.
I like that better.
Although I do, like the idea of it just being like, I don't know, it was the heat of battle. It sounded like it was more of an insult at the time.
Right. But bug in the system makes sense, and I think it probably does reference another. I think she probably had said that at some point before too. But yeah, it's all fun. The BB-8 thing I always loved. I love that BB-8 got a heroic camera zoom in on BB-8 as our little droid operates the ATST. And I also like in the middle of the ship falling apart and a death squad coming for them, and they almost died because their heads got almost sliced off, that they have time for a quick like spit take, almost
like a double take where they look at each other like, what?
Yeah,
point of order, that's not until tomorrow. That's tomorrow's minute.
Is that right?
Yeah, 113 doesn't the ATST.
Oh, I think I just jumped ahead completely. Yeah, on all of it. I apologize.
The reveal hasn't happened until tomorrow. 113 is.
I think I did Superman Punch and all that for tomorrow's episode too. So just hear it again tomorrow. Right. But for this one, I come back to where did all stormtroopers go? And also on this one, my note was when Phasma says, "What?"
Phasma says what?
What? It kind of reminded me, because she says what, I think, when the ATST comes to life and starts firing at them.
Right.
It reminded me of sort of being a homage to Vader in the trench.
Yeah.
Episode 4.
Yeah. I always forget when BB-8 suddenly shows up, and I'm like, oh, right. I forgot that he was still in this movie.
Apologize for breaking protocol and getting ahead of ourselves. I just get very excited for that fight. Yeah.
Let's start over.
It's a period of civil war. I do like the AT-AT rack. AT-AT rack.
Just call it an AT rack.
But we get that kind of at the as we start to see the destruction, we see that kind of that they've got AT-ATs kind of hanging from the ceiling. That's how
like a piñata.
Well, it ends up being like a piñata kind of, but yeah.
There's a lot of that because they also had TIE fighters on a rack too, didn't they?
Yeah.
In The Force Awakens. Do you think they finally adopted the technology of the battle droids from the prequels, or they just had battle droids on a rack whenever they needed them? You know,
that would make sense.
Better storage,
totally.
Like the big leap in technology from the First Order from the Empire was IKEA storage in their hangars.
Well, once they were finally able to conquer that planet, get that planet to join them, and then the
Sweden.
You mean Sweden?
Yeah. Although it's it Tuckerized, it's like Densui or something like that.
Yeah. I like it's cool. You see one burning TIE fighter fall from the ceiling, like
right.
That was a cool
Sweden's
thing.
A peaceful planet. Please, we only have lingonberries.
And if you're good, meatballs. But we didn't get the at the top of this minute. We get the kind of the culmination of the Holdo Maneuver cinematic experience. In that we pop out of the silence into a little like bang, like almost like Jango Fett Sonic charges. And it's a cool thing that then people, you would think they would know that the film wasn't broken because it's cool, but no.
I'm impressed with how unimpressed the rebels are watching, because they show the Holdo Maneuver and then they just show the rebels like looking out the window like, not like, oh my god, or like,
we can do that.
Yeah.
This changes everything. They're just kind of like looking at it like, I guess they're sad because they lost their friend Amy Lynn Holdo.
Right.
But still, that seems like it would be a pretty, like, if I had to die in Star Wars, doing the Holdo Maneuver is a pretty cool way to go out.
Well, so let me bring it back to something that we hypothesized a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Which would solve two problems, essentially. As much as I love C-3PO, he's basically the star of Rise of Skywalker for me. If this was the C-3PO maneuver, if they left him behind to do it, then it would be like, well, we can't do this all the time. We need a droid to program very specific.
Where are we going to get another droid?
Where are we going to get another droid that we can spare? We left one like just frozen into the wall on Hoth. But also, like, it would have been a definite, like, a heroic reclamation. It would have been a cool moment for that. Granted, you wouldn't have his awesome moments in Rise of Skywalker, but I think the C-3PO maneuver would have been a good, interesting, valid.
And also would explain, maybe why you can't do it all the time. Is you just need a droid to do it, and yada yada yada. I mean, was that like specifically in the script and on the table, or was it just sort of like a fan theory that that's the way it should have gone?
The C-3PO thing? It's just something that we goofed on a couple of weeks ago.
I remember hearing it before though, like, because the thing was at the time was, have Leia do it, have C-3PO do it, have somebody that we care about do it instead of somebody we just met, was the complaint about the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people wanted it to be Admiral Akbar because he just kind of gets an off-screen, sucked out the window death. And
right.
While I can understand that, it's also like, well, we can have, an Academy Award nominated at the time actress do it, or we could have a puppet do it. I think narrative, for filmmaking, it makes sense.
If it was Admiral Akbar, I would have loved to have seen the scene with Lando and Rise of Skywalker where he's like, hold on a second. You're telling me that instead of me flying down an exhaust pipe to blow up the Death Star, that old squid could have just flown a ship through it?
I lost my radar dish for nothing.
Do you think fans would have been, I mean, a certain contingent of fans is always going to be outraged, but would people have been like, oh, you killed C-3PO, or would not enough? Are people that hardcore about C-3PO where they would have been sad if he got killed in this movie?
Sadly, the answer to that is that it would have been fine, except it would have been grouped in with the Luke thing as a divisive, you've betrayed the franchise thing. Like it would have been like more evidence to that fact of like, here's somebody who doesn't respect Star Wars to the point where he killed C-3PO on top of the Luke thing.
Yeah.
Is probably how it would have gone.
I would have rather it be 3PO and R2 if you're going to do 3PO.
Oh, yeah. They have to go out together.
Being an astromech droid, that would make sense because he could really just steer the ship. C-3PO, I think they would use R2 and they would just throw C-3PO in on the bargain,
That's an amazing point. Like
if you needed
an astromech droid to like operate things that are in different places where the human arms can't get to them, that would make a lot of sense too. Like it would be something where like only a droid could do it, and then that's why it'd be hard to repeat it.
Or like a team of 2 droids, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
In theory, yeah.
I like that it's the complete opposite of the message of Star Wars, where Luke loses R2, he doesn't use his tracking. When he's blowing up the Death Star, he's just using the Force. Now there's no human involvement whatsoever in this. In this one.
Luke, what's wrong? I've switched on every computer, and I have multiple droids, and we're gonna do this the old technological way.
Right. He's just watching a movie on his phone.
Luke, what's wrong? I'm on a YouTube tutorial on how to blow up the Death Star. You're gonna have to cover me. There's another 4 minutes of this thing, and then I promise I'm gonna blow up the Death Star.
I tried to
sponsored content.
Yeah, they sent me. They're showing me an ad anyway. So can we do another loop around?
Please send me a listicle.
Well, I do like. I wonder how much. Again, not to kowtow to the noisy brats, but like I wonder how much goodwill would have been. Like how many people would have gotten off their angry horse, to do.
Wait, do you get off your angry horse, or do you get on your angry horse?
I think you get off you were angry, so how many people would have been less angry? And would not have ended up on the side of a kind of loud complainer if it was Admiral Akbar. Like, how much goodwill would that have engendered with the people who think
it would have helped?
Ruined. I think it would have helped. I don't think it's a good choice per se, but I can see how it definitely would have helped with them,
without question. Yeah, it's a it would have at least had more emotional resonance for some people than Holdo did, for sure. Yeah.
Controversy.
Yeah. Well, that we've already covered some of tomorrow's stuff, but like
sorry,
no.
I know. Listen, I did chapter headings and I didn't see where I had written the thing.
Oh, wait, we'd be remiss if we didn't point out that Phasma does say traitor also here, so it's a constant theme. But that was all I had for 113.
One thing I will say, I know we brought up the Boba Fett factor with Phasma before, and I could see that, but I think with Phasma, it's even more of a... the fact that they got like a notable actress to play Phasma, as opposed to basically just like, hey, Jeremy Bulloch, you could fit in this costume, you'll be Boba Fett. Like, you would have thought that she would have more... things to do. So
And she was also
her not doing anything is even more perplexing by the fact that they got like a known actress to do it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. No, I think that's true. And then also just like, I don't know, it felt like she was kind of being played up to be a bit more of a hench person,
right?
Than just a cameo appearance, like someone who was going to factor into things a little bit more, because she was such an active participant in the finale of The Force Awakens that you'd imagine that it would be a bigger deal, but not to be. Cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Cannon fodder.
Ion cannon fodder.
Yeah, it's I guess it's a valid note for any day this week, is that I really do wish that she was more of the Jason Voorhees kind of character in these, where it's just like each movie it looked like she died, and then the next movie it's just like she's back and there's no explanation. It's just kind of like, what do we have to do to kill this one?
Well, in Rise of Skywalker, we would have seen like 6 tanks with various permutations of Phasma floating in it.
But Pete loves that, so it's cool. He's a big Star Rise of Skywalker apologist.
I would have liked that.
Don't forget, Phasma's armor came originally from Palpatine's boat.
Yeah,
so they do have a connection.
Absolutely.
Wait, what?
Yeah, but her armor was that in the Phasma book or something? Phasma's armor was kind of forged from the hull of a Naboobian yacht, which was owned by Palpatine previously, I believe.
Yeah, the ship was a Naboo vessel once owned by the late Emperor Palpatine. So
he was always late. That's why he got rid of that yacht.
So like on the inside of her armor, it says like USS Palp, and then
it's like the Shmi or something.
The Shmi.
Well, what would Palpatine's boat have been named on Naboo? I'm trying to think here.
I don't know.
Would he have named it something like?
It would be like Exegol or something where it's really hinting as to what's.
Yeah, exactly, or something like like the USS Craven Desire, or like something that's a bit more descriptive of who he really is. Dude, what are we even doing? It's the USS Plagius. What are we even trying to do here?
Yeah.
Obviously,
I was going for a cute, like it would have been like all of them, like apostrophe EM, like in a nice kind of like jaunty kind of script font.
Some kind of boat, the SS Do It.
And it's DEW.
Oh right, yeah, there you go.
Sponsored content. There you go.
Well, all right then. It sounds like we got 114 to get to next, so we'll wrap up this minute.
Yeah, it's gonna be about 8 minutes long because I already did the episode.
Well, so how about this then? While you're waiting, go to StarWarsMinute.com/merch to get one of our awesome shirt designs, and not just shirts, you can get them on a print, on a mug, on a phone case,
notebook,
pillow, tapestry, all sorts of stuff. Go to StarWarsMinute.com/merch. Get them before they're all taken down by the copyright police, and join us tomorrow on another Star Wars Minute.